Lesson 10.1, Video 2, Product Property of Square Roots. Understanding this property allows us to simplify more efficiently. So let's look at some key words here. An expression under a radical sign is called a radicand. So whatever is inside the root is called a radicand. And a radicand is in simplest form if the following conditions are true. There is no number inside that we can root. That's what this means basically. Meaning if there's a number inside the root that we can root, we should do so. We cannot have fractions inside a root. For example, the square root of a fraction is not allowed, and that's because of our next one. No radicals appear in the denominator of a fraction. So for example, 1 over root 2. And a fraction, the root of a fraction, can be rewritten like this. That's why the root of a fraction is not allowed, because it does indeed have a root in the denominator. And taking care of that root in the denominator is what we talked about when we talked about rationalizing. Alright, so the product property of square roots. For any non-negative real number a and b, the perfect square of a and b is equal to the square root of a times the square root of b. Really complicated way of just showing this. If you have the root of two numbers inside, you can write them as separate roots. For example, if I have the root of 36, I know that's the same as 9 times 4, so I like to go this way in explaining this property. So I can say 36 is the same as 4 times 9, so I can write them under the same root, and that allows me to write them as separate roots, which is helpful because I know what the root of 4 is. It's 2, and the root of 9 is 3, and I can simplify that way as well. Another property is knowing that the square of a root cancels each other out. So right here, if you square a root, they cancel each other out, and you're left with whatever was on the inside. An example of that would be, again, the square root of 5 squared. The square and the root cancel each other out, and you're left with 5. And this ends Lesson 10.1, Video 2.